Since AEW began just a short while ago, it's established itself as having one of the strongest tag team divisions we've seen in recent memory. Every week on Dynamite, tag teams are being heavily featured with a lot of television time, and it's clear that the company is taking tag team wrestling very seriously. And if you're a wrestling fan, you're well aware of the Young Bucks, SCU, the Lucha Bros, but one of the teams that you might not be familiar with is the Dark Order. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson are longtime indie wrestling veterans who were formerly known as the Super Smash Bros, named after the popular video game. The two are longtime rivals of the Young Bucks, and a team that the Young Bucks actually considered their first rivals. Since debuting in AEW, they had to change their gimmick completely, and it's safe to say that it hasn't worked out for them so far. The Dark Order have a unique gimmick that could have some potential, but it hasn't gotten over for a lot of reasons. Sometimes the angles they run get a little ridiculous or a lot of times corny, and they haven't even been booked strongly to back it up. Even though I wasn't sure how I felt about the group myself from the beginning, I was certain that they were going to be booked strongly and win a lot of matches, but that really hasn't been the case at all. Then the team's absolute low point came on the December 18th show when they closed it out by attacking the Elite, and then this happened.
Nowhere to be found. Is Hangman Adam Page?
It was a sloppy moment that blew up on social media so fast, and later on Jim Ross even called it the drizzling shits. Since then, the perception of Dark Order has been really lousy, but the group has tried to get things together by recruiting new members, and now they're even teasing a leader to be revealed. It's hard to say whether a big name wrestler could save the group as their leader, but the two names you're hearing right now are huge, and they're definitely worth exploring. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, during that segment that got trashed where the Dark Order attacked the Elite, the original plan called for Marty Scurll to be revealed as the leader. Obviously it didn't happen, and in recent news, Marty Scurll re-signed with Ring of Honor, and that's going to complicate his things with AEW going forward. The two companies currently do not have a working agreement together, but when Marty Scurll re-signed with ROH, he was given booking duties, and it was said that he wants to bridge the gap between AEW and Ring of Honor to be able to work together in the near future. So while I do expect him to show up in AEW soon considering his relationship with the Elite, I don't expect him to be the leader of the Dark Order, and a lot of that has to do with his current stable, Villain Enterprises. Marty Scurll is the group's leader, PCO is the ROH Heavyweight Champion, Flip Gordon is one of the younger rising stars in ROH, and as of today, February 1st, Brody King just re-signed with the company. So it's very unlikely, since Marty re-signed with ROH, that he's going to leave the stable or turn on them anytime soon. Had Marty have decided to just sign with AEW instead of ROH, it would have made more sense because he would have likely had to leave the stable anyway, but since he's there, it's just highly unlikely that he's going to leave one stable for another right now. But if Marty were to, say, become the group's leader, it's hard to say whether or not the Dark Order would get over with Marty Scurll as their leader. It's no doubt that Marty's one of the most over wrestlers in the world, and he's one of my personal favorites as well, but I don't know if he's enough for the Dark Order. I don't think anything would go wrong with Marty specifically. I think he'd be fine, and I think the crowd would be very responsive to him, but I could easily see a situation where he's over and the rest of the group isn't. Another big reason is because Marty is so over, he's a babyface. I don't know how you could bring Marty over and him be a heel. Imagine the pop he gets when he eventually debuts. It's going to be crazy. He's not really someone who can be a heel right now. He's definitely shown in recent years that he can do both, but in the beginning, people are going to cheer him, and you can't have people cheering the Dark Order. So while I don't think Marty's the best fit for the group, I think the other guy we're hearing is a much better fit. Matt Hardy is the other name that Dave Meltzer is reporting could be revealed as the leader of the Dark Order, and with his contract set to expire with WWE in the near future, it's growing increasingly possible that it might actually happen. You might have even caught this moment in one of the recent YouTube videos where it looked like the Dark Order might have even been referencing him.
Wonderful.
It's not quite
Wonderful!
but it could be a little foreshadowing if Hardy does end up becoming the leader. I think Matt Hardy is actually a great idea to be revealed as the leader because he's a guy who has a lot of built-up credibility, and he's a really creative person who I think would have a lot of ideas that could help this group get over, and not just himself. Sure, his latest WWE run didn't go so well, but you saw an impact that his broken Matt character was an amazing way of him reinventing himself and trying something completely new that we really haven't seen ever. I think the biggest thing for Matt is that he's going to want creative freedom to basically do what he wants, and I think AEW will have absolutely no problem giving it to him, and that's a big reason why I think this could be successful. And at this point in his career, Matt Hardy has nothing to lose. He's already proven that he's one of the best wrestlers of his generation, and that he's a guy who, when his character gets stale, he can create a new one on the fly and continue to entertain audiences for decades. And if it didn't go well, it definitely wouldn't hurt Matt's credibility at all. And if you're the Dark Order, you can't look at it as an opportunity wasted because you had the biggest name available and the best fit possible to try and get this thing going, and it wouldn't be for lack of effort. Sometimes gimmicks just don't get over, and you have to scrap it and start somewhere else. But I do think Matt Hardy as the leader gives them a lot of potential, and I do think it could work. Let me know in the comment section whether or not you agree and who you think will or should be the leader of the Dark Order.